Okay, here's another reel. Is it real? Is what you're doing real? Is it authentic? Are you doing what you really want to do? Are you interacting with people who are also real? What is real to you? How does it feel when it's not real? What happens in your system when you interact with somebody who's not real? Oh, that one gets me. That one gets me. Most people will say that they feel something. Not everybody will. Some people will say that they hear, or maybe there's a certain scent that they start smelling, like when they smell somebody in spirit, like cigarette smoke or a particular perfume. Yeah. So what's happened today? Quite a bit in the background, which is lovely. Creating what I do and turning that into something more sustainable it was always going to take a team, and I'm at the beautiful point where the team is finding me. What that means is I've got to let go of being hyper independent. I have to communicate better, and I have to be a lot more patient with myself as we do this. I had a lovely interaction today on the heels of me having a telepathic conversation with somebody yesterday in the wider reaches of the whānau, and that person landed in my space today, and it completely out of the blue, not out of the blue in terms of you end up in spaces and time in your life where things happen that quickly when you are tuning in and paying attention to and intention setting. So that's what, goes my nose again. So that's what happened today. So some closure, which wasn't the ending, it was a new beginning, which is fantastic because this has been in the background for 8 months or so and has been bugging me. It's been really, really bugging me. So we got to deal with that today. So here we are, 2 lives in a row. How about that? We came straight in. It seems to me that if the star is white at the top of the page, then we are potentially in the right place to do the live the right way. So why do I keep looking to my left? I have no idea, but that's where all the junk is on the table, and that's where I look to refocus. I won't show you the half-dying dead basil plant. I think I overwatered basil. So basil's not happy. Yes. So, yes, just waiting to see if anybody jumps on, and we'll go from there. So I don't know if anybody else has noticed the trend on these lives, but over the last couple of years, when I say I'm going to let go and either leave the live or go and do something else, tune into somebody else, boom, I get new focus and tune into the person that was sitting there, which is cool. So that is the art of surrendering in action. What else has happened today? What else has happened? Just chipping away, really. End of an era, emptying out the apartment so that we are in the RV. Different life, and you really got to think about when you leave the space and come back into the space, what you're bringing in from the car, what you're taking back out to the car, and you've got to do a lot of culling because not everything is going to fit in the caravan. Yep. And the biggest problem we have is the stones, the tiny, tiny, tiny wee stones. That don't just get under your feet. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Don't just get under your feet. They get under where the 2 major pop-outs are on the side that open up. Yes, what's today? Tuesday. So this night shift thing just has turned my head upside down. So, okay, I'm going to blow my nose is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh dear. I think because I've closed all the hatches that the it's just a little bit warm in here. So come and say hi, write something in the comment section so I can tune in. Yep. Michelle, I wondered if you would turn up tonight. That's good, thank you. I can now stop warbling on and talking to myself. Okay, your job is done. Right. Okay. I'm going to tune into you. Ironically, I'm looking at my smaller tripod, but we won't get into that. Okay, so I'm looking at all the junk on the table. My dead basil plant, which I've mentioned earlier before you arrived. Stacking things. So I've got things stacked that way, which is what neurotypical people do, and then I've got the pile of pots which managed to come in the same colour as my laptop stand. Don't ask me how we manifested that. Okay. What am I getting for Michelle? Right now, other than my little bit of hay fever with the temperature out of control in here with me battling down the hatches, it's the contrast in textures actually on my table. It is the contrast of shapes. What I get with that for you, Michelle, at the moment is probably the contrast in your clients. Because I'm looking at a whole lot of different containers, vessels, of various forms, various shapes, and you have, oh, this is interesting. Okay. The scope of what you're doing, if you think what's happening on the verge of, on the edge of happening now, and you think that's relatively sized, then wait for a second, because it's actually the next 2 or 3, because I'm looking at 3 pots over here, are going to actually be bigger again. So that's interesting. All the small stuff is in front of me. You know, I can hear a metaphor in my head saying all the small stuff is behind me, but actually the big stuff is coming. And I'm looking at my jelly, which I thought was no sugar, but it's actually low sugar. And it's not about sugar for you. This is about the clarity of what these people are about to bring into your life. Again, on the business front. And I've just turned that around. So when this next client arrives, don't hesitate. I'm just clearing the space for this new client to arrive on my desk. Pre-paving the way. Don't hesitate to ask them what else they've been thinking of and what else they want to do, because I get the sense that when they come to you, they've got the stock standard thing that they want to build, but there's actually a whole nother idea underneath it, and it's actually you that pulls it out of them because you see it, you sense it straight away. And so that's the practice of not letting them play it small. How did I get that out of a jelly packet? I don't know. How did I get that out of looking at a bowl of mango passion fruit flavoured jelly? I don't know. And it's a bit like when you go and talk to the person. You're not going to know how you get that out. Kia ora, Audrey. You're just going to do you, and you're going to ask the right questions and not muck around, because you want to know. Inherently you want to know, which is good. And that jelly, which started this conversation, weirdly enough, with the clear, it's all about the clear packaging. It's the wording and the text and the fonts on that packaging. My Beats headphones are sitting next to that, so I feel like you start to really hear properly what people can't articulate. Does that make better sense? It's not just a feeling. I know that you feel and you connect and you feel. What I see happening is that you start getting the clear audience coming in and hearing what needs to be asked, which is lovely. Because then you realise it's not your imagination, because the questions for that person are too succinct and they're too logical, and some of the language won't be yours, and that's how you know. Right, I'm just going to blow my nose again. Oh dear. Just trying to keep the caravan warm for hubby coming home late. Okay, so Michelle, I hope that made sense. That was a really different energy. And why do I keep, I'm still going back to that jolly packet. Ah, it's a packet. It's a packet. So I gave you a packet of something this week. So get stuck back into that packet that I gave you. There you go. Excellent. Any questions? I got there. I'm glad you said that's exciting. Some people would have gone, oh my gosh, how do I... No. It's exciting. You've been preparing. And you've got a lot of different knowledge in there ready to go. And having that clear audience is lovely, because it does tend to cut through, excuse the pun, but a lot of noise. And we'll see what else comes up at the end of the week when we connect. Yeah. Right. Enough of that. Maybe I need to give you the jelly packet. I don't know. Should I show you the jelly packet? There's my jelly packet. So I thought it was no sugar, but it's low sugar. So when I cut out the carbs and the sugar, that's what got me through the first week, or probably the first 2 weeks. Yeah, so hearing that is interesting. Touche. What did I... I'm going to rewind here, Michelle. The conversation I had today with one of my in-laws on the fringe, other than the event, which meant we went our separate ways for a bit, miscommunication, I froze, unmasking autistic, was the fact that this individual was all about telepathy at the moment and had listened to the telepathy tapes and has been working in a part of their life. And they were, the message I'm getting to give here now was they were focusing on working with particular individuals from their third eye. And we're standing outside of a shop, and the first thing that came out of me, and I wasn't working, but you tend to kind of, when somebody's open like that, you do just share. And we'd resolved this miscommunication, which was awesome. I said, forget about trying to do it from the third eye. I said, drop into your heart space and extend that energy out. It's a little bit like breath work. If you can get into that heart space and connect to somebody in the energy that way, your other intuitive senses will kick in. Your third eye is great for seeing, but it's only one aspect. When we open our heart, we open our hearing, we open all of our senses. and we then become a fuller vessel to receive everything that we need to. Melissa, fancy seeing you on a page like this. Thank you for sharing all of that. And the other thing that I dropped in at the very end is, and I haven't done it with a lot of people, this is a particular whānau that I have in my past, and I just said to this person for encouragement, I've had with this small group, had complete telepathic conversations with various ages of this group. Yeah. So that was good. Something in there resonated to say that it was possible. So when you are opening up your intuition and you are delivering to somebody else and you're not sure if it's your imagination, just watch how the receiver reacts to what you're delivering. And at the same time, multitasking people, observe how your body is delivering that message. Is there a part of the body that lights up when you're delivering? Because that's important. If it was just your imagination, you really wouldn't connect from another part of your body to that. You know? Yep. Okay. Now, Melissa. I've just turned over the woman's magazine and it says, drink responsibly. Okay. My hangovers tend to be 3 days later, so I don't drink anymore because I just can't tell when the hangover's going to arrive. Okay, that might be somebody else as well. Here we go. It's rain. It's alright. Oh, there goes my nose. Okay. So all the hatches are battened down. So, Melissa, let me know that you're still here. Thank you, Michelle, for being on. As usual, this will be posted to my YouTube account. Afina, kia ora. Okay, so we'll wait for Melissa to jump on board. I will connect with Afina. Afina, my insight on here is now very much focused around coaching, training, healing trauma, etc., etc. So let's see how we go. And the reason I've done that is because my intuition is very much based in asking the right questions at the right time. And as a reader, that really wasn't the done thing in the space. So I transitioned. There we go. Let's see what I'm going to get for Fina. I'm looking behind my stand where my phone is, and it's a very tall glass. Doesn't matter what the glass is made out of. It's unbreakable, however. So even though it's empty at the moment, it's a very strong glass. It can hold liquid, obviously. Now, what's interesting is as I look at this container, which is the glass, which is you, the stand that my phone is in can be adjusted. So there's 2 springs on it. So there's a little bit of flexibility within the glass, which is you. But I'm getting a but. I'm getting, oh, there I go, I'm scratching my head. I'm getting that sense you had to lay down and take a hard knock. Now, I hope that I'm not talking an abusive level of a hard knock. I'm hoping that it was a let down more than physical abuse. Something that took the wind out of your sails. Somebody else made a decision that impacted you is really what I'm getting. So let me know if any of that resonates before I carry on. That's why I say I do come with a warning. The one thing I've started to say lately is I'm not an insurance broker. So I want to get down into the stuff that other people don't get to so that you can release it. Why do I want to do that, you ask? Because I had to. If I was going to survive on this planet to get to a point that I would thrive on this planet and somehow make a difference on this planet, then I had to deep dive. And that meant gathering some really interesting skills along the way. So we'll just wait for Athena to come back and tell me if that was resonating with her. Sometimes I will pick up, very rarely pick up on somebody close to the person I'm talking to in their life. So it's always good to check. And I have learnt not to rush this process on a live like this. And just sit in the space. Oh, what is up with my nose? Different temperatures. Oh, the joys of being sensitive, really. In saying that, though, I've chosen to be this sensitive, right? I can't do the work that I do and feel all the other people's feelings and emotions without being this sensitive. So, let's see. You never know on here. Some people's data disappears. Some people got to go and do something and leave the room. Athena, yes, could be a while ago, was the first thing that came to my mind when you mentioned hurt. Yes, and I do go back there because that's when what I call trauma coding starts. So when people work with me in the now and they're trying to achieve, create, make something happen, my job is to go and find out what the trauma coding is inside past experiences. And most of the time people have decided that those experiences were either meaningless or insignificant, and most of the time they might seem like that to everybody on the planet, but it generates trauma coding, and once we find that trauma coding then we can release it. So you consciously, intellectually might have managed to pull your socks up, pull it together and soldier on. Unfortunately, because we are 70% water and have a cellular memory, the hurt stays. So whatever that memory was that surfaced when you and I have been sitting here talking to each other and don't know each other across a screen, if you can, in the safest possible way, go and connect to that event and ask what it is you can unravel about that on a deeper level. Clear out the closet, clear out the cupboards, acknowledge the pain in a way that you've never done before, and you'll find that things start moving. Now, that's not to say that some of the things that we want to have happen or want to receive aren't going to happen because they're not for our highest good. We can do as much as we can by clearing our plates, so to speak. Yeah. Nikki, hi. Yeah. So I'll leave that with you. That gives you a taste of what we do inside this really interesting room. I don't know what that clicking arm was all about. I guess I will end that, and I will move on by saying you don't need, even though closure on something might become your responsibility because you might not get closure from the other person ever, forgiving yourself for not knowing what you do know now, for forgiving yourself for not knowing what you did at the time, what you didn't know at the time, is part of healing. You don't need to forgive another person. Closure is created, and we can do that by deep diving into the trauma coding and unpacking it in a different way. So there you go. You know, some days would really love to be the happy, light, fluffy, happy-go-lucky unicorn on the planet, and, you know, deliver tarot card readings till the cows come home. But unfortunately, I'm not built to do that, and I have to deal with all the heavy stuff. And so here we are. Some of this gets really heavy. Somebody has to do it. My teacher in China said to me, you know, he was the guy that used to take out the rubbish. And at the time I went, no. And Timu says my patience has paid off. Well, really. Yeah, it does get heavy, and it does get really internal when you do the healing. But what other option have you got? If nothing changes, nothing changes. So deep dive, unpack it in a different way, ask for different instructions from your higher self, and get to a different place. Okay. All right, Afina, I'll leave that there. Okay, Nikki, welcome back. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, this nasal thing, Nikki, seems to be yours. That seems to be yours. I'm really choked up now connecting with you. And the words that I get, and my accelerator foot is trying to kick my husband's Crocs away from me, and I can't, they're stuck. So it's about letting go. I feel like you're trying to establish a new boundary at pace, and you can't. So everything is kind of heading up towards the head and to the nose. So, Nikki, I want you to reassess how you are trying to let go, and ask yourself how much you do want to let go, and ask yourself what actually is it you're still holding on to, and what the payoff is of holding on to that. Yep. And Afina says, thank you, sounds terrifying, I got this. It can be terrifying, but that's why you do it with other people. That's why you do it with somebody who's trained and has been doing this for a long time. And you go on a journey, and you go on different retreats, you go to different practitioners, and you start building up your knowledge so that you get to a point where you feel safe enough that you can start unpacking on those deeper levels. It doesn't happen on its own, you know. You're not an island. You don't have to go and stand in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and say, right, you know, I'm ready now. No. One or two of us on the planet have had to do that, but there's enough of us now where it doesn't have to be unsafe for most people. Yeah, and access, gosh, there's so much stuff you can access online, so go and have a look. Yeah, and just for reference, this work for me was born out of a pretty harrowing event in my life, which was the epiphany I needed really to go, okay, so if this assault has happened to me as an adult female, then something's happened in my childhood as a little girl. What the hell was it? Uncovered it and went, bingo. So that's why I call it trauma coding, and that's why I continue to be sensitive to feel other people's feelings, so that we can get down to the nitty-gritty. Yeah. Whew. Okay, so we've talked to Nikki. The only person we haven't talked to is Talina. Okay. Right. Sometimes the data is... Yeah, sometimes it is. It just depends what's going on. Let's see if Tarina's on the line still. That'll probably be my last one today. Only because I want to get rid of this. Okay, so that rain is a little early. Rain is a little bit early. That might change what happens for my day tomorrow. That's all good. Okay. Now again, when these lives go as they should, I do download and upload these to YouTube, so you can go back and you can have a listen. I know on Facebook they only store them on your Facebook page for a month or so now. So they're on my YouTube. Just punch in Recolor Vibe. Again, I haven't done the official launch, but that is the new business name. That is the umbrella. And LinkedIn. But, just ask. Okay, Tabetha, that might be it. Just wait a second. Thanks, love. I don't feel I need to let go. Okay, we might be talking at cross purposes here, Nikki, about what it is you've got to let go of in that case. You might be thinking I'm talking about one thing, and I'm touching my ear there, but I might be talking about something else. And that sometimes happens. I'm picking up on something that needs to be dealt with, but people focusing on other things because they think that's a priority. And that's the other reason that I've moved into coaching, was so that I can deal with that priority. You know, I'd do a reading for somebody and they thought that was absolutely bloody marvellous. They'd go and refer me to a friend, and the friend would expect the same componentry in their reading, and it just didn't happen the same because the other person had different stuff, and the priority of what needed to happen with that other person was quite different. And whatever's at the top of your priority list of your healing, that's what we've got to start with. So that's part of the reason that I've transitioned here too. Okay, so Tarina, I hear the word scheme, ideas. My hand is doing something quite weird on the table in terms of wanting to be more flexible but can't. So if we've just talked about the word ideas and my shoulder going up, my nose being a bit more blocked, the flexibility that you need to implement some of these ideas is not there yet. So if I was in your shoes, I'd be focusing upon what is it that's caused me to be inflexible with my execution of ideas. Am I like a dog with a bone with executing ideas? Can I relax into the process, or have I been taught that there's only one way to do things, and they can be quite debilitating? So talking to other people about how they've executed different ideas and got things done in their lives, probably a good idea. Just see if we can't shift that perspective and create some more fluidity in there. I'm not saying things aren't moving. I'm just saying that I can sense the potential around what could unfold if we didn't have tunnel vision. Yeah. So at what point did the experiences in your life create this concept that having tunnel vision was normal and that's the only way to achieve things? I feel like we have to undo some of that. Yeah. In order to make things happen. There we go. Right, that's probably me for today and tonight. The alarm hasn't gone off. Maybe the cats know something that I don't know, but they didn't set it off. So we'll just wait for Tarina to come back through. Tarina actually might be the only one left on the live. I'll just see what she says. It's a weird space to be in, knowing that you're talking to people who are going to watch this later on, as well as being here in the moment and waiting for people you actually can't see and that you don't even know. Yeah. We will just sit here for a second, and I will attempt to look as relaxed as possible, which is interesting when you're unmasking as an autistic, because you're not wearing that same mask and you don't tend to feel like you've got to fill in that space anymore. Okay. Oh gosh, that nose today. Nose. We'll just give it another minute because you don't know how long it's going to take. And was it Tarina that was having issues with the data? Yeah. Okay. I'll give it another minute, then I'll sign off. Awesome. Thank you. Definitely resonated with me. Okay. Go well. Go and rewatch this on YouTube if you have to. I will post the YouTube link. I probably need to do that more often. So thank you for being on here, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. That rain might dictate whether or not I'm on here tomorrow night. All right. Thank you very much. Bye.